Hi everyone, it's Andrew here. So I'm doing an analysis of A2 milk, which I'm continuing from the previous episode. So watch that episode first so this one makes more sense. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow, and let's get into it. Now, the first thing I want to go through today is, well, why this amazing business has tripped up so massively over the past 18 months. So it actually started back in 2016 when there were actual people fighting over the infant formula in shops in Australia. The issue was this Daigou channel. This is the name given to the Chinese expats in Australia buying as much baby formula as they could, especially A2, and sending it back to China. They would buy the entire shops out of stock. And this sounds amazing for a business like A2. They didn't have to sell product to China. Consumers were doing the heavy lifting for them, consumer to consumer. Now, this really took off when Chinese baby formula had health issues with babies getting sick and many mothers opting for the better quality New Zealand and Australian made products. So A2 just had to try to keep up with this huge demand, and this is where this amazing growth was being generated from for the business. And eventually Australia had to implement a 4-tin limit per customer because there were mothers just missing out on this all-important infant formula. So then COVID came along and the mad rush to stock up on products like toilet paper, well, it happened, and infant formula was a hot product just as much as anything else. So this huge uplift in sales prompted A2 Milk to produce huge amounts more to attempt to keep up with this demand. I guess that was logical at the time, but it's backfired terribly. See, with that initial rush of sales, people stocked up so much that they just didn't need to go out and buy any more for a long time. They already had multiple bags of it. And then the supply chain issues into China slowed, and the Daigou operations, it slowed it down to a crawl. So all of a sudden, orders from pharmacies and grocery chains weren't flowing to A2, yet supply was at all-time highs. And supply was at these all-time highs because A2 Milk thought the demand was just stronger than it was. So there was just so much inventory sitting around not moving. And this is why I don't like perishable products. See, because there was a time limit on the inventory, a lot of it had to be destroyed, which I think took a lot of guts from A2 to do. The reason I think this was actually a good move was that they had to eat the short-term profit to conserve the high quality and integrity of the brand and the product. Look, imagine if some mothers gave out-of-date formula to their child. That might turn the customer off the brand, and the brand is what's important here. And that actually leads me into the science of A2 Milk. But just quickly, the inventory issue has been resolved now, and it's onwards and upwards again for A2 Milk. But look, it was a very ugly period for the business, and the share price reflected this poor management. And quickly speaking of the share price, you need a good, reliable broker to invest in international companies like A2 Milk. I recommend Interactive Brokers. There's a link in the description for those wanting to take a look at a demo account and get a feel for how it works. It's simple, and most importantly, it's safe. And also, while you're in the description, check out my e-magazine with my market commentary, my watch list, and an updated intrinsic values of all the companies I'm watching. It's $10 a month, and I aim to give far more value than $10 for each edition. All right, now let's talk about the benefits of A2 Milk. Let me be very clear. There is no decisive peer-reviewed scientific evidence clearly demonstrating that A2 milk is better than regular milk. Yes, A2 protein milk exists, but it is not superior. Now, there is plenty of anecdotal evidence from people suggesting that A2 milk is great, but yep, no science, but plenty of good feedback. Now, my issue is that although the brand is great, it's built on this idea that A2 protein milk is better than normal milk. And that's just not proven. What happens if a legit scientific study comes out that says A2 milk is insignificant? Will that hurt the brand? I don't know. So maybe the brand is more about the high quality New Zealand made milk than it is about the A2 protein. It feels like the brand is on thin ice. I'd imagine as they get more dominant, there will be more competition calling out that A2 is not scientifically proven to be better. Now, after discussing this with Tom from Investing with Tom, who has far better videos than me, by the way, where we compare the A2 milk idea to organic products. See, most organic products are essentially the same as regular products. There is a lot of fluff around this, but organic products sounds better for the consumer. For example, organic steak versus regular steak, the taste, it's exactly the same. But the feel-good factor of buying organic products is worth a little more than regular products. Whether this is stupid or not doesn't really matter. It's about consumer preferences, and the consumer votes with their wallet. Plus, consumers aren't scientists, and they are so cautious about buying food for infants that a bit of anecdotal evidence is more than enough to influence the buying decision. Now, my sister actually sent me through this article to prove how anecdotal the A2 milk commentary is, yet it works amazingly well in influencing the buying decision. I'll read a little excerpt for you. Once old enough to move to cow's milk, which I now know gave him the odd unsettled tummy, but the case of these upset tummies was not clear to me until I moved him to A2 milk. Recent research from Curtin University in Western Australia suggests that A1 protein in regular cow's milk might cause tummy discomfort in some. It is just that there is a lot of nasties about A1. Now, this is absolute garbage and obviously sponsored by A2 milk. But this is all a mother needs to hear. Why take the risk with regular milk? Buy the A2 milk and it'll be safer or better. Maybe. See, the peace of mind factor is not about science, and that is a very strong emotion that I can totally understand drives just huge sales for A2 milk. I believe that A2 milk has a brand that makes their baby formula not just a commodity infant formula, but it is just the real good stuff. And I'm fully aware that my sister, she won't change brands. She just won't do it. She will go to another shop until she finds A2 milk. But the brand is just fragile in my opinion. A health scare, some bad press can derail the business quickly. And I wouldn't put it against competition like Nestle in starting to chip away at the integrity of this A2 milk brand. For now, it is great, but I don't know what the future holds. It just doesn't feel rock solid to me. Now, if I take an attempt at working out estimating growth rates for the future, well, this is how I look at working that out. I first ask, well, what is the net income historical growth? Well, it got crushed in 2021 as they almost took a loss for the year, but prior to that, it was flying along at like 50% plus per annum. Then I asked, what is the book value historical growth? And that's at 40% per annum over 10 years, showing that the capital light business and the cash they have been able to generate is exceptional. Then I look at what the historical sales growth has been, and that's 35% per annum for 10 years now, showing a strong brand and lots of tailwinds. Then I look at what was the operating cash historical growth, and that just got crushed in 2021 as well, in line with that net income. Well, again, prior to 2021, it was flying. Then I want to have a look at what the gross margins are. I want that to be, well, 50% and higher is good. It's at 40% at the moment, but it has been closer to 50% historically. It has come down, I assume, because of the increase in logistics costs. I guess the business hasn't passed on this to the customers yet. It'll be interesting to see if they do. This would be a sign of a very impressive brand if they could just pass that on to the customer. So based on these growth rates, what do I think the growth rates over the next 5 years might be? I have actually no idea. It just seems super difficult to think about. On one hand, they could get back somewhere close to where they were, so they could easily be 20% plus per annum growth from here, maybe 30% plus, but this could also take a while, and maybe with, well, I don't know, management, growth doesn't come back. I don't know. Yes, everything is just getting harder to advertise effectively, harder to distribute products, harder to sell premium products, but that is where the power of the brand comes in. If this is truly a wonderful business with a wonderful product and a wonderful brand, these things just won't matter. But I still haven't looked seriously at the balance sheet. I haven't looked at the management or even done any valuation calculations yet. So I'll be concluding the analysis in the next video. Now, I appreciate those who are following me along here. Please give me a comment to tell me you're still here and enjoying this. I hope it is helping someone out there. Thanks again, and stay tuned for the next episode.